Hey everybody, welcome back. Today in the cheapest spotlight. Yes, it is a soldering iron. Not just any soldering iron, it's the 210 portable from Relife. Relife, a pretty big name in the, not so expensive soldering department. They have a lot of cool stuff, and I have to say thus far I've been pretty impressed with Relife as a whole in terms of the quality and the bang for buck. Okay, I mean seriously, look at this thing. Look at it, it's tiny. I thought it was a toy soldering iron the first time I saw this, honest to God. Like something you'd find in one of the dollar stores. It's so tiny and light. There we are with the box exposed and nicely packaged. Look at that, little compartments for that tiny little soldering iron. Very nicely done, it's not gonna be going anywhere. This unit ships with that one C210 tip. You can obviously get more. Look at that unit. I mean, it is just small and light and light. We're going to weigh this in a bit, but look at that. That's where that 210 tip goes into. Any 210 iron is going to fit this bad boy, so that is definitely a bonus. Back of the unit here, and there's that USB-C port. Now remember, this has to be plugged in. It's not wireless. So, yeah, you got to have it plugged into that USB-C when you're using it. But other than that, look at that. 210, this is the one Relife tip that it ships with. Now, you can get this with multiple tips. I only got the one because I have a ton of 210 tips. But nonetheless, easy breezy. This is the standard knife tip. Well, not standard, but I kind of like the knife for doing small, tiny SMD components. And look at that. It comes with that little tiny stand with that little sponge. Very nice. This is a good PVC quality stand, so it's not going to burn. And those tip holders, though, I mean, it's a little weird, isn't it? Kind of big for a 210 tip. I don't know what Relife was thinking, but anyway, it fits on like so. Yeah, not bad. All in all, it worked. Have a real soldering stand as a bonus. So tip goes in like so, easy breezy, and it is so light. It's just so light. Now, once again, you got to have this plugged in. So in this case, I'm using that Fred power charger. Yeah, and it's a 100-watt rated GAN unit. It's not bad, not the best in the world, but it's going to do the trick. And I mean, hey, so the reason I have the Fred is because, the charger they sent me, the wall wart, European prongs. Dang it. I specified North America, Canada to be exact, and they sent me a European pronged 30-watt adapter. Anyway, yeah. But this has happened more than once, so kind of a pain. Hey, just for the fun of it, I took out my HACO 2032 micro soldering iron, and just comparing it size-wise, I gotta say, they're pretty close, pretty darn close. And let's face it, that HACO is powered by mains, so yeah, I think in terms of overall portability, I'm gonna give it to the little Relife. But yeah, side by side, look at that, as small almost as that tiny little HACO. Oh, crazy! By the way, for whatever weird reason, you saw that little short circuit that comes up every time I plug the charger into this little guy. Not only lasts for a second, goes away, but it's a little weird. Maybe a firmware update can take care of that. Don't know. But yeah, anyway, boom, look at that. Oh, that thing goes up to 400 in like no time at all. Man, do you remember when we had to wait literally minutes for these things to heat up? Not anymore. Seconds, literally seconds. Fits in that little holder just like so. It's not bad, not bad little holder. I like the overall presentation. Definitely portable. Definitely something you can just put in a pouch and go. And speaking of pouches, yeah, this does not come with any carry case whatsoever. You gotta bring your own case, folks. So just take note of that. There's the power supply info from Relife. Power consumption, there you go, 60 watt, rated 60 watt, goes up to 420 degrees Celsius. USB Type-C port, PDP. So check out the weight on this, 18.1 grams. That's without the tip, 18.1 grams. This thing is like a feather. Holy. That does not weigh a lot, does it? Let's put the tip on and just weigh it with the tip, because now I'm curious. So with the tip, we are at 20 grams, so still super light. Straight out of the box, uncalibrated, let's check the temperature accuracy with a genuine HACO FG100B. Here we go. maxing out at 400 degrees Celsius. Bada boom, bada bing. And uncalibrated, we're coming in at around 386 degrees. Perfect. Okay, let's take a quick look at the power output here. 60 watts is what it's telling us. And we're going to be using that Finercy charger, rated at 100 watts. Alrighty, here we go. Put it up to 400 degrees. That's the little Hako glass filled with water. And there is our wattage power output. So we're going to dip the tip into the water, and that's going to definitely increase that power on the iron. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Oh, yes. And we are nowhere near 60 watts, are we? 32 watts of power, a little more over 32. Hey, that's a little bit disappointing. Let's just try that one more time. 32.5-ish watts maximum with this water dunking test. Now, I was expecting to see something a little higher, you know, maybe 55, 60 watts, maybe 50 watts, but no, no can do. So, yeah, a little bit disappointing. So, yes, 400 degrees Celsius on the little Relife, and all we pushed was a maximum of just over 30 watts coming out of this iron. So, a little ho-hum, but you know what? Let's try one other iron. Why not? Here I've got the Finercy, and same temperature, 400 degrees Celsius, same USB-C wall wart adapter. So let's see, can this thing actually do 60? Oh yeah, not a problem. In fact, coming in at just under 70 watts on the Finercy. So this wall adapter, this Finercy wall wart is definitely capable of more than 30 watts. Sometimes you can have problems, you know, because you've got a damaged heating element, or the power supply is not up to it, maybe oxidation on the tip, incompatible power adapter, what have you, but none of that is relevant in this case. So for whatever reason, we're not getting that 60 watts that Relife claims this is capable of when it tries to heat up that tip to the max. Not good. If there's no tip inserted, you do get that no tip warning. Quick FYI, always nice. Setting that temperature is easy as up and down on those two arrows. Down for lowering, up to raise the temperature. By the way, maximum temperature is 420 degrees Celsius. Ready to get into the main menu, hit both buttons at the same time, brings up our little pop-ups. Here we have a bunch of different settings that we can change, such as the sleep temperature, 80 degrees Celsius being in this case as low as you can go. You can raise it as well. I like leaving it at the default of 80 degrees Celsius. You have your temperature steps, you have your standby temperature, sleep time, 30 seconds, 20 seconds, 10 seconds, even less if you want. I'm leaving it with 40. Let's make it 20 for now. Standby time as well. So when do you want the soldering iron to actually go into standby mode? Temperature units, do you want Celsius or Fahrenheit? I'm in Canada. I'm used to Celsius. And of course, we have different languages. Well, not that many, really. We have a choice between Chinese or English. We can rotate, so if you're left-handed, you can actually have the display kind of suit your angle. I'll give you a look what that looks like. Just hold down on that up arrow to change the setting, or the down arrow rather, and there you go. So it's sort of inverted. That could be coming in handy, I guess. We have our PO heat. That's always on by default. Power on, basically, is what they're talking about. Temperature calibration. And once again, to go back into the menu, we're done. Doing a little bit of soldering now. Just some basic little solder here. See how this iron can perform with a light little duty. I've got two types of solder. One is the cheapy Chinesey solder. I don't have high hopes for this. And of course, my Stanol, German. Good stuff. I use this stuff most of the time. 60-40, here we go. So starting off with the cheap stuff. And when I say cheap, I mean cheap. Like 100 grams was like $4. Yeah, cheap. And anyway, long story short, it's not the greatest. It doesn't flow very well. Maybe the tip has a little bit to do with it. Now, this is one of those Blade C210 tips, so it's small, but it does have some mass to it, so it should be doing a little bit better, I would presume. But it's having a bit of a time melting this solder, melting this cheap solder. So, yeah, doesn't really have a nice overall presentation after it's been soldered either. I don't know. Yeah, anyway, let's try the good stuff. Some Stanol. This stuff's more like 10 times the price. And look at that. Look at that. Like butter. Like butter. Awesome. Smooth. Flows incredibly well. Oh, I love my Stanol. Side by side, look at the difference here. Look at that nice, bright, huey, gluey. Oh, I missed a hole. Oh, well. Anyway. And once again, on a nice set of wires here. I'm using the Stanol here. I gave up on that cheap stuff, and yeah, no problem at all. Okay, here we are now. Do a little bit of playing around here. I'm going to put a little bit of flux on there and just go over those traces ever so gently with that blade tip. Applying a little bit of solder. I pre-fluxed it beforehand. Here's not doing so badly. It seems to be heating up pretty well and, you know, sort of doing what I want it to do. All in all, fairly decent. It flows well. Now, taking off the solder from those traces, a little bit more hairy-carry, so to speak. So, believe it or not, I've been doing it for a while now with the stuff, and yeah. So once again, the tip itself just does not seem to radiate a whole bunch of heat. Now, if I had my Hako on this, for instance, I'd be done. I mean, it's just a matter of pushing out that heat where you need it, when you need it, and it just takes longer than it seems like it should with this iron. Oh, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. Anyway, I've taken the solder off. I'm going to put a bit more flux back on. And I'll go over it again with the iron itself. And once again, those traces are coming up nice. Put a bit more solder. Flowing well. That flux definitely helps. Iron did seem to get a bit hot at the tip. It's been on for a while. It is a little bit awkward for some reason. I don't know exactly why, but maybe because the iron itself is so light. But when you're using it for a while, the USB-C cable actually seems to sort of hinder the way I'm holding this iron. Now, I'm a right-handed person, but anyway, I don't know. Here we are, just applying a little bit more flux to a chip on board. I want to see if I can pull this chip without much effort. Putting some flux on, trying to loosen it, and I tell you, if this was my Hako, it would be off, but it's just not getting there. Now, this is turned up all the way, 400 degrees Celsius. And yeah, I'm going to try what I can. Still working at it, but it is a kind of a muted effort here. And once again, a little bit awkward for whatever reason with that USB-C cable. But anyway, give it a bit of cleaning here with some alcohol. Now most of those pads, they look to be solder free, but it just won't budge, So whatever. Alright, here we go. Taking a look inside that Z210 tip. Of course, like every other one, it's that cartridge style, JBC inspired tip. Actually pretty simple inside. What we have here is that Z210 style cartridge heating tip. It's got a little micro ceramic heater inside, the fast heating type. And usually within that, you've got thermocouple temperature sensors embedded near the tip. All in all, pretty slim pickings, right? There's our USB charging port, our little OLED display, which is actually not a bad looking display. And of course, the other side here is where the fun stuff starts. Power stage, MOSFET driver. Usually you'll find one or two MOSFETs that switch power to the heater. You might have a little bit of diode protection and filtering going on there as well. This is where the USB power gets chopped to maintain that tip temperature, the PWM. All in all, pretty basic inside. And that's not a bad thing because, you know, over the long run, you know, this should pretty well last if it has half decent components put inside. Also, these units have that wake-up sensor, that motion sensor. Basically, they call it like an accelerometer. Detects the movement and auto-wakes the iron. Closing thoughts of the Relife RL-210 portable soldering iron. I'm sorry, pass this one by. Hey, don't get me wrong, it's not a complete waste of time, but man, I was really mad because I expected better. I really did. Yeah, it's only 26 bucks US, but it had me hoping high. If you go to look at the adverts on this thing, it just seems to be the end-all be-all. They're even claiming 60 watts. Big mistake. I couldn't get more than 30 out of this iron, no matter how hard I tried. Not only that, when you're doing general soldering, sometimes you just need a little bit more power at the tip, and it just did not seem to have that power when I wanted it or when I needed it. There's a lot of great soldering irons out there now in the same price range, perhaps a bit more, but they also have quite a lot more power, and that power speaks volumes when it comes to portability. Some people mentioned inconsistent temperature control. I didn't find that. Honestly, the RL-210 really didn't lack anything in terms of power delivery. It regulated the temperature spot on. In fact, calibration-wise, it was pretty darn close out of the box. So durability-wise, like I said, this thing is not bad for a budget-friendly device. Yeah, you might have some lower-end materials compared to more expensive brethren, but hey, come on, 25 bucks? I do like the Z210, definitely not as popular as the 245, but they do have their place, especially if you're doing a lot of micro soldering. I really think it can come in handy. But once again, that power delivery at the tip just didn't have enough oomph for me when I needed it. All in all, frustrating, kind of makes me mad. The Relife RL-210 portable soldering iron gets a mediocre 2 out of 5 stars. Yeah, if they could just increase that power output, perhaps give us a better stand, you know what? I'd be a happy camper. Thanks for watching this review, everybody. Until the next one, keep on testing.